The Last Beacon. The HMSS Hope hung in the void like a silver teardrop, its gleaming hull adorned with the ancient symbol of the caduceus. Dr. Maya Rodriguez stood at the observation deck, watching distant stars drift by as the medical ship approached the Novus cluster. Somewhere in that collection of stars, thousands were dying from a plague that had already claimed millions. "Doctor, we're receiving another distress signal." Lieutenant Sarah Chen's voice came through the intercom. "The situation on Proxima VI has deteriorated further." Maya closed her eyes, feeling the weight of responsibility press down on her shoulders. The Hope carried humanity's latest medical breakthrough: nanobiotic processors capable of adapting to and fighting any pathogen. It was the culmination of centuries of medical research and possibly the only chance for the dying aliens of the Novus cluster. The ship's eye, Florence, announced. Unknown vessels detected approaching at FTL speeds. Energy signatures matched Dominion warships. Maya's heart sank. The Dominion, a confederation of species that viewed Earth's rapid technological advancement with suspicion and fear. They had been particularly vocal about humanity's medical research, claiming it violated natural law. 3 Dominion warships dropped out of FTL, their angular hulls bristling with weapons. Their design emphasized intimidation. All sharp edges and threatening silhouettes. "This is Executor Venn of the Dominion Fleet," a harsh voice transmitted. "Your vessel carries prohibited medical technology. Power down and prepare for boarding." Captain David Chen, Sarah's brother, responded calmly. "This is HMSS Hope, a medical vessel protected under Galactic Convention Article 15. We are responding to a Level 1 medical emergency. Stand down." The response came in the form of a warning shot that blazed past the Hope's bow. Maya watched as Captain Chen's expression hardened. They all knew what was at stake. Without the nanobiotics, millions would die. "Final warning," Executor Venn transmitted. "Power down or be destroyed. Your species' interference in natural selection ends today." That's when Florence detected something extraordinary. Deep within Earth's oceans, in facilities hidden from all but a select few, ancient sensors awakened. Quantum networks that had lain dormant for centuries sparked to life. As the Dominion ships prepared to fire, Maya noticed a subtle vibration through the deck plates. Captain Chen's comm unit lit up with a message using codes so old they predated humanity's first steps into space. "This is Admiral Harrison of the Earth Defense Force," a voice transmitted on all frequencies. "To all Dominion vessels, you have exactly 30 seconds to stand down." The Dominion ships responded by charging weapons. Maya watched in awe as space itself seemed to ripple. From quantum tunnels hidden in the dark between stars, humanity's secret guardians emerged. They were beautiful in their terrible purpose. Ships of impossible black metal that absorbed light itself, their hulls marked with the same caduceus as the Hope, but wrapped around a sword. The Earth Defense Fleet, hidden away when humanity chose to present itself to the galaxy as healers rather than warriors. The battle that followed lasted less than a minute. The Dominion ships' advanced shields meant nothing against weapons based on physics they didn't even know existed. Their hulls, designed to withstand conventional energy weapons, offered no protection against quantum-phase torpedoes that simply ignored the space between launch and impact. In the stunned silence that followed, Admiral Harrison transmitted again. "HMSS Hope, you have patience waiting. We'll ensure no one else interferes with your mission. The Earth Defense Fleet has awakened, and we will protect our healers." As the Hope resumed course for the Novus cluster, escorted by humanity's hidden guardians, Maya understood something profound. Humanity hadn't abandoned its capacity for war when it chose to focus on healing. They had simply waited, watched, and kept their swords sharp while hoping they would never be needed. In the days that followed, as the Hope's nanobiotics saved millions, and the galaxy grappled with the revelation of Earth's hidden fleet, a new saying began to spread among the stars. "Pray you meet humanity as a patient, not as an enemy." Legacy of the Stars. The Dominion High Council chambers erupted in chaos as the footage of their defeat played on massive holoscreens. 3 of their most advanced warships, reduced to atoms by weapons that shouldn't exist, wielded by a fleet that had appeared from nowhere. High Executor Thane watched the recording for the 100th time. The black ships emerging from quantum space, their impossible weapons, the casual way they had dismissed shields considered impenetrable. But what troubled him most was the symbol they carried, the marriage of healing and warfare that challenged everything the Dominion thought they knew about humanity. "How?" demanded Counselor Vex, her crystalline form vibrating with anger. "How did we miss this? Our intelligence said they had dismantled their military centuries ago." In a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Sarah Harrison, daughter of the man who had saved the Hope, was asking herself the same question. She stood before the assembled leaders of Earth's hidden fleet, the weight of recent events pressing down on them all. "The secret is out," she said, studying the faces around her. "After 300 years, the galaxy knows about us. The question is, what now?" Dr. Rodriguez's hologram flickered as she joined the conversation from the Hope. "The nanobiotics are working. We've already saved millions in the Novus cluster, but the Dominion's attack has changed everything. They're calling for an emergency session of the Galactic Council." Admiral Harrison nodded slowly. It was time to tell the story that had been kept secret for centuries. The true story of why humanity had appeared to turn away from its military might. The holographic displays activated, showing Earth as it had been 300 years ago. A world that had nearly destroyed itself countless times, before finally learning the hardest lesson of all, that true strength lay not in the ability to take life, but in the choice to preserve it. "Our ancestors," Harrison began, "made a choice. They looked at the stars and saw 2 paths. One of conquest, of carrying our wars into the heavens, and one of healing, of using our knowledge to help rather than harm. They chose healing, but they weren't naive." The displays showed the construction of the hidden fleet, ships designed not just as weapons, but as shields, built with technology so advanced it had to be kept secret. Quantum physics beyond what even the Dominion had achieved, married to medical knowledge that could save worlds. "They knew," she continued, "that sometimes the ability to heal isn't enough. Sometimes you need the strength to protect those who heal. So they built us, the Guardians. And they hid us away, hoping we would never be needed." On the Dominion homeworld, Thane was reaching a similar understanding as he dug through historical records. He found the patterns, plagues cured, disasters averted, millions saved. And always, in the background, watching, were signs he could now recognize. The subtle quantum disturbances that marked the presence of Earth's hidden fleet. "They were never defenseless," he whispered. "Every medical ship, every humanitarian mission. They were all protected. We just couldn't see the Guardians." Back on the Hope, Maya watched as another wave of nanobiotics was distributed to the sick. Outside her window, the black ships of Earth's fleet held position, no longer hiding their presence. She thought about the dual nature of her people, the dedication to healing that had defined them for centuries, and the strength that had always waited in the shadows to protect that mission. A small alien child, cured of the plague, pressed her hand against the window of the quarantine unit. Maya pressed her hand back against the other side of the glass. "This," she thought, "this is why we hide our swords, so moments like this can exist." But as reports came in of Dominion fleets mobilizing across the galaxy, she knew that the time for hiding was over. Humanity's guardians had risen, and the galaxy would never be the same. Guardians arise. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so full. Representatives from 1,000 species crowded the ancient hall, all eyes fixed on the human delegation. Admiral Harrison stood at the podium, her black uniform a stark contrast to the white medical garb of Dr. Rodriguez beside her. For centuries, Harrison addressed the assembly. Humanity has been known as healers. Today, we stand revealed as guardians as well. Some call this deception. We call it prudence. The chamber erupted in overlapping translations and angry shouts. From their elevated platform, the Dominion representatives glowered. High Executor Thane raised his hand for silence. Prudence. He spat the word. You developed forbidden quantum technologies. You built a secret fleet that could devastate worlds. And now you expect us to trust you. Before Harrison could respond, the chamber's emergency alerts blared. A junior Dominion officer rushed to Thane, whispering urgently in his ear. The High Executor's expression shifted from contempt to shock. The Nexus Plague, he announced, his voice hollow. It's reached our core worlds. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward. The same plague that's ravaging the Novus cluster. We've developed a cure. Let us help. Help. Thane laughed bitterly. Like you helped the Novus cluster. Your ships appeared there too quickly, almost as if you knew. His eyes widened with realization. You created this plague. The accusation hung in the air like poison. Harrison felt the mood of the chamber shift dangerously. But before she could speak, another voice rang out. No. The word came from Ambassador Zena of the Novus cluster. The ancient being's translucent form glowed with barely contained anger. We tracked the plague's origin. It came from a Dominion weapons facility. Screens throughout the chamber displayed data streams confirming Zena's words. The plague was an engineered weapon, designed by the Dominion to target lesser species. It had escaped containment, mutated, and now threatened its creators. Your own bioweapon, Rodriguez said softly. That's why you tried to stop us. Not because you feared our technology, but because you feared we would discover your crime. The chamber descended into chaos as Dominion ships across the galaxy began launching attacks. They struck at medical facilities, research stations, and civilian targets, trying to destroy the evidence of their guilt. But humanity's guardians were ready. The black ships emerged from quantum space near every human installation and medical vessel. The battles that followed were short and decisive. Dominion ships found their weapons useless against quantum-phased shields. Their own defenses meant nothing against attacks that seemed to violate the laws of physics themselves. On the Hope, Maya worked tirelessly to distribute the cure, even as battles raged around the ship. The vessel's quantum escorts deflected everything the Dominion threw at them, never letting a single shot reach the medical ship. Why continue protecting us? She asked Harrison during a brief communication. The secret's out. The galaxy knows about Earth's fleet now. Harrison's hologram smiled. Because that's who we are, Maya. We're not warriors who learn to heal. We're healers who learn to fight. There's a difference. In the following days, as the Dominion's bioweapon program was exposed and their leadership faced justice, humanity's dual nature became clear to the galaxy. The black ships remained visible now, escorting medical vessels and humanitarian missions openly. Their presence was both a promise and a warning. Those who came seeking healing would find it freely given, but those who threatened the healers would face their guardians. The Galactic Council, shaken by the Dominion's betrayal, began to understand why humanity had chosen its path. They had hidden their weapons not out of deception, but out of hope that they would never be needed. And when that hope failed, they had used their strength not for conquest or revenge, but to ensure that healing could continue. The price of peace. In the aftermath of the Dominion's failed attacks, the galaxy held its breath. The quantum defense fleet hung in high orbit above Earth, their black hulls reflecting starlight like obsidian mirrors. Below them, the HMSS Hope and its sister ships continued their missions, protected but unhindered. The remaining Dominion loyalists had retreated to their fortress worlds, taking with them something far more dangerous than weapons. Dr. Maya Rodriguez stared at the data streaming across her screen aboard the Hope, her face pale with concern. They've modified the plague, she reported to the emergency session of the Galactic Council. It's no longer just targeting other species. They're threatening to release a variant that will affect everyone, including themselves. High Executor Thane, now in custody and cooperating with authorities, shook his head in disbelief. They've gone mad. The hardliners believe if they can't rule the galaxy, no one should live in it. Admiral Harrison stood before the tactical display in Earth Fleet Command, watching red dots indicate the spread of the new plague variant. How long? She asked. Without treatment. 72 hours before it becomes pandemic across populated worlds. Maya answered. The nanobiotics can cure it, but we'd need to reach every major population center simultaneously. We don't have enough medical ships. Harrison's expression shifted as an idea formed. No, we don't have enough medical ships, but we have something else. She turned to her staff. Signal the quantum fleet. All ships. The plan that followed was unprecedented. The black ships of Earth's defense fleet, built for war but crewed by those who had sworn to protect life, began to transform. Weapon ports were converted to house medical equipment. Quantum drive cores, designed to power devastating weapons, were repurposed to mass-produce nanobiotics. We built these ships to protect our healers, Harrison told her crews. Today, we become healers ourselves. The sight of Earth's quantum fleet appearing above worlds across the galaxy caused initial panic. But when medical teams began deploying from the fearsome vessels, carrying cures rather than weapons, everything changed. On the Dominion fortress world of Keras Prime, Maya stood in full containment gear, facing down armed soldiers alongside Quantum Fleet Marines. Your leaders are dying of their own weapon, she told them. Let us help. One by one, the Dominion worlds fell, not to conquest, but to compassion. The black ships that had been their nightmare became their salvation. Even the hardliners couldn't maintain their resistance when their own people were being saved by those they had tried to destroy. In orbit above a former Dominion colony, Maya watched from the Hope as transformed quantum ships distributed supplies and medical aid. I never thought I'd see warships being used as hospitals, she said. Admiral Harrison's hologram smiled. They were always meant to protect life. We just found a more direct way to do it. Her expression grew serious. The hardliners' bunker has been located. They're still threatening to release the deadliest strain of the plague. Then we'll need both sides of humanity's strength, Maya replied. Your ships to reach them, and your healing to save them from themselves. Harrison finished. The mission that followed would become legend. Quantum ships performing precision strikes not to destroy, but to create corridors for medical teams. The finest warriors Earth had produced fought alongside its greatest healers, their skills combined in defense of all life. In the end, when the hardliners' bunker was breached, they found its occupants already dying from their own weapon. And despite everything these people had done, despite the lives they had taken and the destruction they had caused, humanity's response remained unchanged. They healed them. A new dawn. 1 year after the Dominion crisis, the Great Hall of the Galactic Council had been transformed. Where once species sat in hierarchical tiers based on military might and technological advancement, now they gathered in a circle of equals. At the center of this change stood humanity's dual legacy, the merged fleet of medical and quantum ships that now served as a symbol of protection and healing across the stars. Dr. Maya Rodriguez stood at the podium, her white medical uniform now bearing the same combined insignia as Admiral Harrison's black one. The caduceus wrapped around a sword, but with the sword pointing downward in peace. A year ago, she addressed the assembly. We faced extinction because we forgot a fundamental truth. Power without compassion breeds destruction, but compassion without the strength to defend it cannot survive. Humanity didn't choose between being healers or warriors. We chose to be both, so we could be better at each. The holograms activated, showing scenes from across the galaxy. Former quantum warships, their weapon systems converted to medical bays, bringing aid to disaster zones. Medical ships like the Hope, now openly escorted by protective vessels, delivering care to the most desperate regions of space. And most remarkably, joint human-alien crews learning to combine their unique strengths in service of all species. High Administrator Zena, now leading the reformed Galactic Council, spoke next. The Dominion's fall taught us that strength through fear leads only to destruction. Humanity showed us a different path: strength through protection, power through healing. In Earth's orbital shipyards, a new class of vessel was under construction. Admiral Harrison watched through the observation deck as robots assembled the massive hull. The first of the Guardian class, she explained to Maya's hologram. Medical ship and protector in one. No more separation between healing and defense. Are we sure the galaxy is ready? Maya asked, thinking of the responsibilities ahead. They're not just ready. They're joining us, Harrison replied, gesturing to the alien engineers and medical personnel working alongside humans. Every species brings its own insights, its own strengths. We're creating something new together. The quantum engines that had once powered weapons now drove medical replicators at unprecedented scales. The stealth systems that had hidden warships now protected mobile hospitals. The very technology that had made humanity's fleet so fearsome in battle now saved lives in ways its creators had never imagined. In the depths of space, the HMSS Hope and its escorts responded to a distress call from an unknown species, suffering from a mysterious ailment. As they approached the alien world, Maya remembered the fear in their transmission when they first spotted the quantum ships accompanying the Hope. "We are the Hope," she transmitted to the frightened species below. "And these are our guardians. We come to heal, and they come to ensure we can. Will you let us help?" The response came slowly, but it came. "We welcome your healing and honor your protection." On the bridge of her flagship, now permanently converted to a medical command center, Admiral Harrison watched the relief mission unfold. A young officer approached her with a report. "The last of the old weapon systems have been converted, Admiral," she said. "The quantum fleet is fully transformed." Harrison nodded, but corrected gently. "Not transformed, Lieutenant. Fulfilled. This was always their true purpose, to protect life, not just from violence, but from all that threatens it." As the Hope landed on another world, bringing help to another species, Maya understood that humanity had finally found its true place in the galaxy, not as conquerors, not as mere healers, but as guardians of life itself. The sword and the caduceus, forever intertwined, serving the noblest cause of all, the preservation and protection of life throughout the stars. In the end, humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its advanced technology, its quantum ships, or even its medical breakthroughs. It was in understanding that true power lies not in the ability to take life, but in the commitment to protect it, heal it, and help it flourish. And across the galaxy, a new age dawned, one where the ships that had once hidden in shadow now sailed proudly in the light, their mission clear and their purpose true. They were humanity's gift to the stars. The promise that wherever life struggled, help would come, and that help would be protected.